They are, they're together later on. Right. So she said they're like, are you excited? Sure, we can pass it too. Hey, how are you? Of course. You said birthday? Yeah, we did. Yeah, I was talking Junior Lake the other day, and I was like, there. August 31st. Oh, thanks. Yeah, Virgo. Big tracks. Yours is August 31st. Yeah, we pretty together, and then I didn't add something. Was me and Tom so you might not know. Yes, okay. We're gonna do this big photo yeah. That was part of my meeting. Yeah, they were plotting together about like when each of them would get there. I think Sam hit a lot of stuff too. Will did.
This is the scene that I ever seen live in the right now.
We're going to start at 9:10, so we have some lovely refreshments that Alan provided. So please get coffee, food, and we'll get started in a couple minutes.
Christian tour, I've been recording for even though I'm already There's really no problem. I mean, you know,
mayor, who will be here in a couple minutes. So wanted to go ahead and get started and welcome you all here. First of all, I just want to thank the Allen team for hosting us today. Such a treat to be on your campus, and thank you for the hospitality with the food and the breakfast, but also just time together with our group. Obviously not Mayor Rickaman. He will be right here in a few minutes. There is a historic sign unveiling in Columbia today, this morning, and he will be with us shortly. He has asked me, and the president has asked me to get this meeting started, so we'll go ahead in the sake of time. We have a new Midlands University president from Allen University, Dr. Stanley Pritchett is here. Welcome, Dr. Pritchett. So you are just coming right in and hosting us this morning, so wasting no time. So
30 days on the job.
that's awesome. Well, we're excited to learn more about you when we do our introduction. So thank you again. A couple reminders about this committee's purpose. We are a relatively new town and gown. Some of you have been around throughout the journey. Some of you are new to this, but a great relationship between the universities in our community and the city of Columbia. This is a non-voting committee that is really driven around open communication and collaboration between the cities, universities, and colleges and the city leadership. So thank you all for being here and prioritizing these meetings. Please also note that this is a public meeting that is being recorded and will be posted to the city's YouTube channel. Minutes are collected and distributed and posted, and you all should have gotten the minutes from our meeting, I think in October. So you should have gotten that in the follow-up. We always do introductions. I think probably the greatest benefit of our time together is learning who's in the room and where continued partnerships and relationships can go from these quarterly meetings. So we'll go around the room and we'll start to my right with Michael here. And so if you would please give your name, your title, the institution or entity that you're representing, and that includes all staff and guests as well. So we want to get to know who's in the room. And I'll pass the microphone.
Thanks. I'm Michael Anselm. I'm an attorney here in town with McGuire Woods. I am the Wales Garden neighborhood representative for this meeting.
Good morning, my name is Greg Lowe. I'm the president of Midlands Technical College.
Good morning, I'm Stanley Pritchett. I am the interim president here at Allen University, and we're very pleased to have you as our guest on this wonderful, beautiful, historic campus. And this time, you're going to hear from the introductions of members of my team.
Good morning, everyone. Again, welcome to Allen University. I am Andre Richardson. I'm the Vice President of Student Affairs here at Allen University.
Good morning. I'm Sunny Young. I'm the Chief of Staff here at Allen University. Greetings, Grand Rising. Tony Sims Mohammed, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Good morning, I'm Danielle Robinson. I'm Assistant Vice President of Fiscal Affairs here at Allen University.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Allen University. My name is Ty Barnes, Vice President for Institutional Advancement.
Stanley Cromartie, newly athletic director here at Allen University.
Good morning, it's Robbie Thomas. I'm the Vice President and Manager for WIS here in Columbia and WMBF in Myrtle Beach, and I'm a neighborhood representative for Northeast.
Good morning. I'm John Dozier, President at Columbia's College. Columbia College. Just keeping that straight.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Madeline Bowden. I'm the board coordinator for the City of Columbia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy Rivera, and I work in the Office of Mayor Rickaman.
Hi, I'm Peyton Lang, the current staff liaison to the town and gown from the City of Columbia in the mayor's office. And I'll pass it all the way across the room to Erin. I'm sorry.
I have one.
Testing, wonderful. Good morning, everyone. My name is Erin Barbie, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Dream Key Partners. We've been partnering with the City of Columbia for the last almost 12 months.
Good morning, everybody. Maurice Pearl. I'm with the Comet, the Executive Director, CEO.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Charmaine Clark, City of Columbia, Community Development Department Program Manager.
Good morning. I'm Felicia Kilgore. I'm the Director of Community Development, and we have been working real closely with Green Key, Erin Barbie, so we're here to support her as well.
Good morning, I'm Justin Simon. I'm the new Director of Planning and Development Services at the City of Columbia, and I will also be the future staff liaison to this board.
Good morning, I'm Kyle Brantley. I'm an alumnus of the University of South Carolina and collegiate representative.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elle Matney. I'm the parking director for the City of Columbia.
Good morning, David Hatcher. Am I doing that right? Good morning, David Hatcher, Director of Code Enforcement, City of Columbia.
Good morning. Major Chris White, Columbia Police Department, current assignment, Community Services Bureau.
Good morning, everyone. Courtney Smith with the University of South Carolina, the new director for the Leadership and Service Center. So my team does a lot of our neighborhood relations for the university. Nice to meet y'all.
Good morning, I'm Rebecca Best. I'm Government Affairs with the University of South Carolina.
Awesome. So welcome to all of you, and great to have all of you from Allen here. So welcome to the team if you're new. So we're excited to get this meeting started. The fall meeting, you all again should have received the minutes, but Mayor Rickaman has charged institutional leadership to share strategic plans to ensure and talk about how those strategic plans fit into the city's plans. So last meeting, we heard from USC and Columbia College. Notes are provided in the minutes. If anybody has any updates or anything you would like to share, anything maybe that wasn't reported as it should be. The city also provided an overarching plan about what's happening across the city, and I don't know about you all, but that was quite informative. The team who shared that, some city planners about the trails and all of the work and the vision for really making our city very walkable and interactive from Bull Street to the zoo, which I love telling people. One day it will be a path that you can walk, you can run, you can take a transit, you can ride a bike, but really innovative and exciting things happening in the city of Columbia. Anything else you all want to add to that? All right, great. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Peyton for other announcements.
Hello again. We've had a lot of developments and changes and things happen between our last meeting. As a reminder, this meets 3 times a year, so lots of months go by and seasons and semesters. I caught myself telling the mayor that I'm like, oh, that's next semester, and he was like, wait, this is a job, Peyton, like, you don't get to say that. But I want to start by saying Krista Hampton departed at our last meeting, but I'm excited to introduce, he said a little bit about himself, but Mr. Justin Steinman, he will be stepping in. He comes from the great city of Chattanooga, but this was a big search for this job with everywhere, all of our colleges, universities, cities going, and so we're excited to have him. Justin, would you share just a little bit about yourself? Just because you'll be taking over a little bit more for me after today.
Sure. So, I most recently came from Chattanooga. I've spent most of my career in planning, but also capital planning and finance and budget and procurement management. Oh, thank you. And probably my most relevant university town experience was I was the lead planner for the city of Auburn for Alabama for about 6 years. I have 2 children and a wife who still live in Chattanooga who will be moving here after school is out, and I am very happy to be here.
Thanks, Justin. We're excited to have you too.
Oh, one other relevant fact was I have also been an adjunct instructor and a visiting assistant professor at a couple of different colleges and universities too, so I am a little bit familiar with higher education.
I don't want to expose Justin too much, but normally when you say town and gown, I don't say people jump for joy, but he did. So we're excited to have him on the team and bring him in. Also, since our last meeting, we had the 2nd annual Columbia Talent Retention Fair. We had even more vendors and even more attendees. I'd say the student response was more vendors, more industries locally. So we want to continue scaling that. We increased investment from Midlands Business Leadership Group from like $500 to about $10,000. So hopefully we can use that for marketing and to reach more students to get internships and entry-level jobs here in Columbia so they're not leaving on the summer or after they graduate. So if you have any ideas, feel free to send those our way. We're starting to plan for the next one. The next is the Student Side Hustle Soda City Pop-Ups coming back for its 5th year. If you don't know, this is the mayor's program where he allows any student in the city of Columbia, which now we know we should say college students. We have had elementary students sign up. Have a free booth at Soda City, and we cover the business license. We support them for marketing and boots on the ground, and we're excited to expand that. Hopefully we'll have a date that we'll send by email, because it'll probably happen before our next meeting. But we saw last year 5 different colleges and universities participate with their students. So it's definitely working, and we have some innovative people in our colleges. Next is the mayor introduced that we would be having a housing subcommittee on this committee. Instead of going full-fledged, we're going to do a little kickoff meeting at 10:30 today at the end of this meeting, just cut a little early, and set the tone for what we want the purpose of this to be, so everyone can bring the right person or the right information. We invite those who once said they're going to be on the committee to join, but if you'd like to join, it's an open door, and we'll plan for the next one. And then finally, I've also shared that the International Town and Gown Association, of which every single one of you are a member of, as part of the formation, is having their annual meeting at Texas A&M in College Station, Texas, May 19th through 22nd. We will send that out immediately after, because the early bird discount rate closes in 9 days, I think. So if you're interested in going, I do think we'll send the city again, but we'd love to have some of our university and college partners attend with us. Those are the big things before I come back at the end, but I do want to say, in case people get pulled away, this, I can't believe it, it's been almost 2 years, and City Council did 2-year appointments. So at our next meeting, we'll open nominations for new neighborhood, business, all the different seats, student representatives. We'll make sure everyone has that, so you can send it to your networks and your people. But colleges and universities, we do prefer the president or their designee in leadership at every meeting. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick us into our next one, because the mayor will probably arrive in the middle. Last time, Ms. Wilson, our city manager, and the mayor talked about how we know housing is probably our most critical need across the city, whether it's students, faculty, our workforce, families, and beyond. And the city of Columbia has kind of gotten into that world a little more, but we didn't do it with a naive mind. We found a good partner out of Charlotte called Dream Key Partners. They do a lot of P3 development in Charlotte, but they have a very good strategic eye for the southeastern region. So they're in the midst of what she's going to talk about, analysis might be the right word, to help us chart a path forward. But Ms. Wilson's approved her sharing a little bit of what they found so far. And I'll tell you, they've met with thousands, but the student group they met with was very vocal. I've never experienced such a thing, but they were very honest, and they were very straightforward with what they want and what they need, and in many cases what their families need to be in Columbia, to go to school and achieve their dreams here. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Erin and get her PowerPoint up.
Bear with me just a moment while I set up. All right, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Erin Barbie, and I am the Chief Strategy Officer with Dream Key Partners. The purpose of our conversation today is to briefly share with you about the work that we've done in partnership with the City of Columbia throughout 2025. You should walk away with two pieces of information. The first being, who is Dream Key Partners? And what do we do and why do we partner with the City of Columbia? And the second piece is a high-level readout of the work that we did in 2025 and a preview of where we're going next. Thank you. I'll technology change things. So, today's conversation, we will talk about us and our partner. We will talk about what residents are telling us. A large piece of the work that we did in 2025, as Peyton mentioned, was getting in front of people. Meeting them where they are. That included events, it included planned meetings, roundtables. It also included the opportunity to do a citywide survey in which we were able to get concrete data and information about how people felt about affordable housing, what some of their concerns were, their barriers were, because public perception is just as important as the data that we were able to gather. And we'll be able to talk a little bit about how the data confirms the community story. All right, so a little bit about Dream Key Partners. So we are a regional nonprofit real estate developer and community impact organization. Our organization has been in existence for over 33 years. And we currently, while based in Charlotte, North Carolina, we work in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And because we've had the opportunity to have a regional focus, we have built great rapport with our communities that tell people that we are focused on community development and not just putting roofs over people's heads. So our portfolio includes affordable rental communities, affordable home ownership, as well as market rate home ownership, and supportive housing, as well as programs that help people on their pathway to home ownership. We fully believe that in order for people to achieve upward economic mobility, they need to be able to have access to generational wealth, which means they need to have the foundation of financial stability and housing stability. So in Columbia, we're here to listen to the residents and to align investment with community priorities and to help the city turn data into predictable pipeline for affordable and mixed income housing. I promise this clicker's not going to take me out. Help me. I can certainly manually. Okay. That's okay. I can improvise. All right, so this is our team. I wanted you all to have a face to these names that as we continue to interact, you'll be able to know who we're talking about. So the first person is Julie Porter, and she is our president. And she leads overall strategy and growth with a clear belief that housing, again, is the foundation to access to economic mobility. Fred Dodson is our true innovator when it comes to housing and the development side. He is our COO and our Executive Vice President of Real Estate. Fred has been with the company, as he would say, since he was a little boy, because he's been there over 27 years. He said he started it when he was 5, but don't believe him. I am, again, the Chief Strategy Officer, and the purpose is to oversee our Strategic Outcomes Department, help with our regional growth, as well as focusing on community engagement and putting frameworks together that help move residents and communities forward. And last but not least, probably the most important person on our team in this project is Carla Scott, who has over 25 years of experience in community building. And she was the person who was out on the front lines talking with everyone. We didn't do this alone. Of course, we had the City of Columbia and Dream Key Partners, but we had another partner to help us build capacity with our community engagement as well as the survey that we did. The agency is called the D. Wilson Agency, led by D'Alba, and they had two primary objectives. The first was to help with our data framework based off of key zip codes that the city provided us with, as well as helping us to expand our community engagement reach by empowering a team to be on the front lines with Dream Key Partners. So this is a fun picture. I like to start with this because it's important to see that we really were out here. We had a good time. We attended many meetings. We, again, talked to the students. We had an opportunity to go to mayor's events. I would say that 803 Day was a lot of fun for my team. Even though I believe it got rained out for a moment, it didn't stop anyone from having a good time. So thank you for welcoming us in with open arms to be a part of Columbia. We hope to do the same in 2026. So let's talk a little bit about how we listened. So we created a comprehensive 13-question survey that was consistent among every person that took it. And we created these questions based upon some of the priorities that the City of Columbia had, but also understanding anecdotally what people felt about affordable housing so that we kind of knew how to tackle next steps. Overall, we had a meaningful capture of surveys and 1,272 people that participated across age and race and zip codes and household size. So it gave us a really good piece of insight as to what people were saying. So here's the survey summary. And all right, for the survey summary, there's 4 headlines here that I want to call out. The first is that 35% of residents reported experiencing housing instability. This is significantly higher than expected for a mid-sized city. Again, 35% of residents reported experiencing housing instability. The next headline is that the primary driver is the cost versus the income gap. We all know that the cost of living and the average wage is not available. And I know that talking with people who are directly connected to those who go into the workforce, finding a living wage at your very first job can be extremely challenging, which then trickles down and causes challenges with housing. 715 residents, that's 56%, cited combined cost and wage barriers. 236 cited low wages specifically. The student housing distortion is real. We overwhelmingly heard more about USC. So USC, yeah, you know it, I know. USC tends to be the fall guy, the culprit, what we heard when we were talking with community about what's causing some of the issues for access to affordable housing. There is a general feeling that off-campus students are pushing rents beyond workforce affordability levels. That students are choosing to move into traditional neighborhoods and raising rents, and or investors are coming into Columbia area and surrounding, purchasing single-family homes, turning them into SROs, which is single-room occupancies, jacking up rents, and it's impacting the entire neighborhood. So I would say that the general sentiment that we received around USC is that while it's wonderful, it is creating neighborhood character changes, and property owners are not acting in good faith, and houses are being destroyed. And while this isn't just a USC issue, I can guarantee that some of these things are happening. So USC is also a focus. And then I will say, as far as public data, for us to be able to do a lot of research, USC had most of the information, which is why it's so critical for us to begin talking with the other colleges so that we can understand your strategy and the impact that your students are having on the general housing character and culture. And the last area is the hidden homelessness signal. So 8% of people reported that they are living temporarily with family or friends across the 6 primary zip codes, and that application fees and credit are the reason that they can't get into housing. So one of the things that we hope to do is to look at the survey results and drilled down by age to see what that impact is for that group that's just coming out of college. Are they the ones that are experiencing higher hidden homelessness because they can't get into affordable housing? These are questions that we hope to answer. Additionally, one part that's not here in the slides. From a survey as evidence on the student population housing impact, we overwhelmingly heard a quote very similar to this. We can't afford our own neighborhood as owners and renters due to student housing rent rates. And we heard that the off-campus rental market is hot, and it represents 26.1% of all rental units in Columbia. So what this creates is upward pressure on rental prices, which we talked about, seasonal vacancy patterns that's affecting housing stability, and competition between students and workforce for affordable rental units, as well as the development of purpose-built student housing that removes units from the general rental stock. Again, that's investors coming in, creating SROs. We don't have the magic crystal ball on how to fix this, but it's good to know that some of this data is supporting what the community is saying. So here are the themes that we heard based off of our survey. The first is that, and most overwhelmingly, that people do not have access to a cost that fits their income. So they don't have access to affordable rent and mortgage. People felt that safe and stable housing was important for them, free of hazards and long-term security. What's interesting is that if you ask someone who took this survey who has an established home, they say that safety for them means that their neighborhood is not changing. For those who are in rental, safety for them meant literally crime and safety, ensuring that they felt safe to walk the streets. So two very different perspectives on what safety means, and we began drilling down on that. Another area that was important was location near job, schools, and transit, which we had a great conversation this morning around transit access and essential services. People shared with us that access to essential services is in pockets in Columbia, and that sometimes you have to go very far, or that transportation, especially public transportation, is not always accessible and or convenient. So for example, someone wants to get to a grocery store, especially an older adult, they may have to take more than one bus to get to their ideal store, which gives them a challenge. And they have no choice to get out of that situation because they can't find an affordable home. So you can see how that starts to compile itself. The next was availability of housing options. People stated it's kind of a one or the other. That you can live in a market rate apartment that is too expensive, or you can live in affordable housing that happens to be what we call a NOAH, which is a naturally occurring affordable housing unit. Meaning that it was never meant to be affordable housing, but because of years and dilapidation, lack of investment, it becomes very affordable to live there, but not ideal from an aesthetics or even just feeling comfortable in that location. There tends to also be higher crime issues, things like that. And then fair housing and other, which is really anecdotal for the themes, so it's just small 6%. So that was the community. The data confirms what the community voice says, that there is a demand is strong for lower rent units, especially for seniors and families. And the demand is for under $1,000 a month. That feels almost impossible. Under $1,000, I would love to rent under $1,000 a month. But it's not impossible if affordable housing is built the right way at certain area median incomes and gives mixed income, right? So now we have more unit opportunity. The next is that the market is becoming very bifurcated. And what that means is that there's deeply affordable legacy, NOAH, that we just talked about, and HUD-linked stock. So that's the stock that people can afford because it's downtrodden. And then there's this new low LIHTC, which is the tax credit units, mixed income projects with near market rents and lease-up risk in some markets. What that means is, yes, they built something that is slightly affordable, but because it's mixed income, they're experiencing higher vacancies in those market rent locations. So for example, if someone has the ability to pay an $800 rent, maybe they have 10 units where there's $800 rent, but the other units are $1,600, $1,800, and people can't afford that, and so then they have vacancy. The last is preservation of existing nonprofit-owned and naturally affordable properties around Central Columbia, paired with targeted new supply in underserved in-town neighborhoods that will be critical to keeping Columbia affordable as the 2024-2026 pipeline delivers and national preservation buyers get more active. Columbia does have a great pipeline of buyers who are outside of the city who want to come in and do great work. But there's a lower percentage of developers who are developing affordable housing who understand the Columbia market coming in. So there's opportunity to attract them. So I'll end with this. This is the affordable housing snapshot. So the affordable stock is older, as I mentioned, and preserved product plus newer LIHTC. Many properties are from 1960s to 1980s, and I'm sure you can think about where those are within your city. Vintage with some renovations, so specifically you can think of the Colony Apartments, Waters at Long Creek. So asking rents that are affordable from low 500 to 1,600 per unit, there's a big cluster of them. 1 to 2 bedroom, around 900 to 1,200. Hello, Mayor. How are you? Good. Want to pause for a moment? Okay. Okay, we're on the last slide. And then for the new supply, most of this new production is in the outer and emerging markets, right? We don't have a lot of folks coming into some of these established neighborhoods. So this is far north Columbia, Bull Street. I think we talked about that just a moment ago. There's a lot of attraction to these areas, which we all know. And then for many Columbia affordable properties, they have that very low vacancy, typically 1 to 7%. So talking about those naturally occurring affordable housing units, they have low vacancies. People are staying there for years and years because they cannot afford anything else, which means that the pathway to home ownership tends to stop when they get into an affordable unit, because an affordable mortgage is also not available, which then leads to lack of turnover, lack of access to another unit, so just several opportunities. So one of the reasons that we wanted to be engaged with this amazing committee is because this is such a college town and there's so much impact. Not just from the housing perspective, but from the workforce perspective and where are people getting jobs. We heard a lot about how students come here to go to school and then they leave. And we want them to stay and contribute to the city and just build their lives here. And so we want to better understand how can housing support that effort, right? And so we are here to learn and to better understand how you all perceive housing, and hopefully you will welcome Dream Key Partners back and we can continue the conversation. Alicia, is there anything that I left out that you'd like for me to highlight?
I don't think so, you get it all.
Wonderful. And Charmaine, anything? Okay, wonderful. As long as they're happy, I'm happy. Thank you for your time. I think I went over my 7 minutes, but thank you for your time.
Back to the mayor, but as she said, we wanted y'all to have a face if they reach out so that we can collaborate. They're a resource that's doing this work and we can make sure everyone's included. With that, Mayor, I'll pass it back to you to go into today's strategic plans.
First of all, I just want to make a comment about Dream Key and housing, what a key it is to our community. You've heard us talk about it. There are over 2,100 empty lots across this city. A lot of them owned by families who have owned them for a long time. They've been empty for a long time, and it's creating gaps And it's causing problems for our school districts, it's causing problems for our communities, because we need activity in there. Empty lots, we have a lot of dumping issues, we have crime issues in those areas, and we're trying to really change that. So one of the things we went to different cities to see, and in Charlotte, Green Key has played a major role in changing neighborhoods, especially some neighborhoods who truly have been forgotten. Taking old housing authority places, rebuilding those, creating lives, making it an area where you take a larger swath, maybe a 20-acre or 40-acre place, make it multiple neighborhoods. But building with sustainability, meaning intentional building with quality products that last. And some of the buildings and apartment complexes that we saw when we were there, they're 10 and 15 years old, and they look better than some of the things that we had that were less than 5 years old. So it made us realize that we allowed people to dictate to us what they say we should get, and we're changing that narrative of what we believe. But this is taking our churches and our community, and we're going to be a little aggressive. There may be opportunities here where we even look at a vacancy tax to really push people forward to build that, because we have large pockets. Just south of here, one neighborhood has 152 empty lots. 18 of those lots are being built on because that owner has realized there's a market, but that still leaves a lot. There's one single owner that owns 33 lots. So opportunities there. So I think, for me, I want to make sure that this is about the bigger vision of growing, because housing is a problem. We need 15,000 to 16,000 units over the next decade, right? Last year we were on pace with about 1,700 permits between single-family homes and apartments. But we got to keep that pace up. But we need it in every category. Everything from townhomes to high density, we got to change the mentality, because the future buyer is not all about single family homes. And so making sure that we're working with our neighborhood partners and our communities, our universities, addressing that issue and how we do that, because we want downtown to stay affordable, right? We don't want to run into what other cities have run in, where workforce gets pushed so far out that they don't come back. They find other opportunities. So as we're thinking and moving through, we have to think about that. Who are the right partners to partner with us? What does downtown workforce housing look like? What is downtown luxury housing? We need it all. And 85% of the needs based on a middle market study are going to fall into 3 categories. And they all have a different outlook. One is baby boomers downsizing, who want to be in a place where they have a support system and they can integrate into the community and stay active. You have single moms who have an opportunity to start home ownership that haven't had it. It's a bigger category than we realize, and one we need to pay attention to. And then the third category is our younger generation, our millennials and Gen Zs, who want minimal. They'd rather be in a townhome or a quadruplex or a condo and be able to spend more time enjoying life than worrying about yard and everything else. And so we haven't had that in a long time. So we're having to change the way we think and how we do it. Yes, John.
Mayor, thank you so much for this. And you both may not be able to answer this immediately, but I'm wondering, what does material partnership with colleges and universities really look like practically? I'll give you an example while also bragging on Columbia's college.
Fighting koalas, just in case.
Fighting koalas, yes. 2 years ago, our fall enrollment was 1,575 students. This fall, we had 1,831 students. The growth trajectory shows that of those 108,031 students, 576 of them are resident students. We have only capacity for 625 students on campus. Our growth trajectory says that by the 27-28 school year, we're out of housing capacity on campus. And we're looking for solutions that don't negatively impact our community, because we are a community-centered college. That said, I'm having to think about how we put a shovel in the ground tomorrow. what does material partnership look like as we are out kind of trying to find solutions that work for all of North Columbia, in my case, all of Columbia generally?
I can tackle it a little bit. So what I can give you as an example of what the work that we've done in Charlotte. So we partnered with UNC Charlotte, and what we recognized is that there is a lack of understanding. Thank you.
A lack of understanding of the strategic growth plan of the university and where they foresee like you just went through, the amount of students they have coming in, what are the barriers to housing, and the areas that they've mapped where their students are likely living. So we are able to look at what we call University City and better understand what the needs are for affordable housing, especially near transit, light rail. We're able to kind of track all of that. And then we can put a strategic plan together in partnership with the City of Charlotte about how the funds are going to be distributed to promote affordable housing being developed near those areas. So it's a win-win. So students have access to affordable housing, families that live in the area have access to affordable housing, and we are planning together versus cause and effect, which tends to happen, right? You grow, they move out, and then, oh my goodness, we need more affordable housing in area X. It's about staying ahead. So the partnership for us looks like being strategic in the growth and making key decisions that can positively impact both.
So what I've heard is that I need to call you instead of a meeting to have this conversation so that, again, we are really coordinated, therefore, then with the city.
I think that would be a wonderful outcome with the City of Columbia's blessing to have some meetings where we can individually talk about what your strategic growth plan is, because if in my data mine, I would love a spreadsheet to be able to look at year over year what the expected growth is of each college, where the high impact areas are for students to live, and then do an overlay of transportation, you can get me going, and just like see how it all fits together so that we can make a collective decision versus each entity doing its own thing.
And I think the other part to that is we always have to remember we have to look at alternative ways. I mean, we're having to look at alternative ways. We can no longer rely on tax credits and others. We got to create other opportunities, different partnerships to get things done. The other piece of that, and the number one issue that coming back to the students that meet with us on a monthly basis is affordability. They're having the same question that residents are having. So we have to have that balance. And it's important. It's really easy to go, well, we can get a developer to come in and build something, but if it's not affordable to the majority of the population of that thing, then we haven't solved the problem, we just created another one. So I think as we move forward, all of these things have to be intentional in our discussion points. And we have to create partnerships that we haven't had before. With that, it's kind of segue. I would love to kick it over to Alan, our host, to kick off their strategic plan and vision.
Greetings again. I am Dr. Tony Sims Muhammad. I am the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at Allen University. And on behalf of the President, Dr. Pritchett, and our distinguished cabinet and executive team members, I'd like to share with you a brief overview of our strategic plan for 24-29. Our theme, we are, we can, and we will. We're going to try it. So, Allen University, or as we like to say, the Allen University, is all about evolution. And our evolution involves taking critical and key actions that reflect where we have been, where we aim to go, how we will achieve our aspirations, and of course, why it matters and what that success looks like for our students in particular. So our evolution involved several key identity ways that we defined ourselves and defined our work. So in particular, we started in our foundation phase, 2017 to 2021, teaching the mind to think, the hands to work, and the heart to love. The 2021-2024 imagination phase, all that can be imagined and can be achieved. The 24-29 bold action phase. We are, we can, and we will. So each of these evolutions has reflected our growing confidence and our ability to reach our fundamentals while also exploring the possibilities. So where we stand today, we have some challenges, as all institutions do, but we are ready to rise to those challenges. And we will rise to those challenges by navigating our increased competition and the evolving market demands, by community building. That's why we are participating in this committee, and we are so grateful and thankful to have all of you here. Our financial sustainability. We are looking at how we can diversify our revenue streams, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Our academic innovation would primarily be one of those ways that we are exploring financial sustainability and diversifying our revenue streams. And of course, our athletics. And we welcomed our new athletic director, Stanley Cromartie. And Allen has expanded its sports programs in many, many diverse ways. So we look forward to doing more of that. Our 4 strategic aspirations in our strategic plan include growing and expanding enrollment. As all institutions have realized these cliffs that we've encountered in the last decade, we are thinking more critically and more creatively about looking at more non-traditional partners and non-traditional opportunities, dual enrollment, enhancing educational excellence, streamlining our pathways, ensuring that our students can come, gain a micro-credential, prepare for the workforce, even enter the workforce, and then, of course, advance toward completing their degree. Building financial strength, looking at our sources of revenue and determining where we can, of course, accomplish some low-hanging fruit. And enhancing our environment. If you have not had an opportunity to see our campus, we hope that you will today. Walk around, see some of the improvements on our campus in terms of the buildings, the infrastructure, and then of course we have the wonderful Waverly Boeing Institute, which is one of our latest, most advantageous adventures yet. Our notable achievements from 24 to 25 thus far in terms of our strategic plan is our SAC COC accredited master's programs. We now have a 1-year MBA online program. We also have an environmental science master's program and a master's in sports management. All of these critical degree areas where they're very difficult to identify professionals that are trained in these areas. Our graduate excellence. Our students have gone on to achieve PhDs. In fact, I'm very pleased to talk to many of them still today about their accomplishments, including acceptances to Princeton, Yale, UNC Chapel Hill, USC, and UT. And it goes on and on. Our Association of Theological Schools. Our seminary is accredited. The Dickerson Green Theological Seminary, housed in the Waverly Boeing Institute, is one of the best in the nation. And this year we stand poised to graduate, I believe, 7 doctoral students, our first and largest class from Dickerson Green. Academic achievement, we have now 345 students that have accomplished a 3.0 GPA in the spring of 2024. And we continue to see our students' GPAs remain steady at this pace and rise. Our SACCOC fifth year interim report was successful, and we are in the 2027 class, and we will approach that reaffirmation with confidence that we will, of course, be reaffirmed. Our athletics, we continue to aspire to have great players at Allen University, and we have had the SIAC Player of the Year, and continue to see our student athletes as scholars. So our plan matters, and it matters because our plan aims to be transformational as we identify creative ways to build in micro-credential milestones toward our students completing their degree programs. Our plan focuses on leveraging better resources, better facilities, better support, and of course, all of our students receive MacBooks when they enter the campus. We like to say we are an Apple campus. Our plan also fosters engaged students who represent Allen through scholarly presentations across the state and nationally. And our plan is supported by our ability to recruit and retain esteemed, high-quality faculty and staff who are committed to the institution's rise. Our plan finally contributes to Columbia and South Carolina's thriving economy, and we employ over 120 full-time and part-time faculty and staff through our institution's growth and stability. So, the power of our lofty aspirations. We aim high because we know what it means when we succeed. When we succeed, our students succeed, our communities succeed. And our aspirations are very intentionally ambitious. They push us to go beyond those incremental, small things that will improve our institution and that will elevate Allen to its true nature, statute, and promise. And as we achieve our goals, we will become a model institution that demonstrates the power of historically Black colleges and universities and how they can accomplish through their strategic vision and collective commitment. We are committed to transforming our students and improving their lives through an exceptional education experience, and we will explore how competitive positioning will allow our students to come to this institution along with attracting the best faculty and resources to support our aspirations. The ultimate impact of our lofty aspirations is to secure Allen's future for generations while fulfilling our mission and to educate, empower, and transform the lives of the students and the faculty, staff, and community that those students serve. Thank you.
Any questions?
You have a slot ready?
Yeah, it's fitting. Y'all always
I had a quick question for you. Thank you for that presentation. What are some of the top careers that your students tend to go into after graduation?
Business, and criminal justice. So business, criminal justice, we have a very large business program. Sports management has become a true opportunity for our students to realize some career advancement as well. As I said, in many instances, those areas are very difficult areas to identify folks with those degrees and credentials. And now, as we're introducing the micro-credentials into the pathways, we intend to realize some gains there as well, so that our students can, for example, get those Google certifications as they're completing those business degrees, right? And then the way we have structured our business program, they can complete in 3 years and move into the one-year MBA. So we're looking at how we can streamline some of those programs, because that's where we're seeing the greatest growth, the greatest opportunities.
Thank you so much.
I promise mine, it's not this complicated.
You can go ahead and start.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Greg Little. I'm the president at Millis Technical College. And I kind of wish I didn't have to follow that really great presentation. You got handouts, you got slides. I don't have any of that this morning. But I do want to talk to you about what's happening over at MTC. 2025 has been a tremendous year for Millis Technical College. It was the first year since 2017 that we eclipsed 10,000 students in our academic programs. And we had the largest corporate and continuing education enrollment in our college's history, with over 13,000. By the end of this year, we'll have served about 25,000 students across the Midlands. And at the moment, that makes us the third largest higher education entity in the state of South Carolina, only behind our friends down the street at USC, as well as Clemson. We're currently number 3. Last year, we brought together a group of people to talk about our strategic plan. And I've been on the job about just over a year. And that always seems to happen to me. I don't know, John, if it's ever happened to you. I show up to a new institution and like, hey, guess what? We're doing strategic planning. I'm like, hey, guess what? I don't even know everybody's name yet. And I don't know how to get to the college. You think we can wait a little bit? They said, no, Dr. Little, we got to get it done. So we jumped into our strategic planning efforts. We brought together a group of people from across the college. And my philosophy on strategic planning is that it has to be our plan. It has to be a plan that represents the values of the college and who we are as a college and the history of the college. Beyond that, I only give them one rule. When it comes to strategic planning, if you're not serious about it, don't write it down. Because if you write it down, we're going to do it. So if you have any sort of doubt or whatever else, don't put it down on paper. So we kicked off our strategic planning efforts, and one of the people who are working on the strategic plan, they came up with a phrase that we have used in our vision statement and has really become the phrase that we live by. We want MTC to be a place where every Maverick matters. Now, they don't know this when they're creating this, but in 1985, my mother became the second ever female principal for the Wilkes County Public School System in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And she created a vision statement for Wilkesboro Elementary School, of which I graduated from, and was paddled by my mother in the 6th grade. She came up with a vision for Wilkesboro Elementary School that said, every child matters. And so the fact that our strategic planning team created Every Maverick Matters really meant a lot to me, and it's been something that we have been leaning into. So today, instead of walking through some of the goals and those kinds of things, what I want to talk to you about are some key projects where we highlight that every Maverick matters. The first is that this year we created a food pantry on campus. We have been told by our students, and many of our students have food insecurities. We've been told by our staff that, hey, they're really concerned about students being able to concentrate while they're eating or eat and be able to concentrate in class and those types of things. And so that came up to our provost leadership to have a program for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We are really thrilled about this. Our first open house, or our first really open information session, we had over 60 people show up. We think there's a tremendous need in our community for this. My wife used to teach special education, and she said the saddest day of her year was when her students graduated, because they had no place to go. And very often those students end up on their parents' couches. And we also know that families that have the students with significant disabilities, they have a divorce rate of about 85%. And so we want to make sure that we're serving our families and serving our community, and also creating opportunities for these students in ways that perhaps they've not had before. So we're recruiting for that project this spring. We'll do a bridge program this summer to kind of just make sure that everybody can figure everything out. And then we'll do a hard launch of that program next fall. Also excited to know that when we talk about Every Maverick Matters, we also have to talk about our veterans. We're one of the largest service to veterans in the state of South Carolina, and we have a very interesting partnership that we believe it's a one of a kind with Fort Jackson, where we're helping combat medics transition to get their certifications in paramedics. Oftentimes the Army world or the military world does not translate very well to the civilian world. And when you think about 5 or 6 months, which this program shaves off for them, and you're trying to make a transition, those 5 or 6 months are significant. So we're very excited about this first of its kind program to help our combat medics become paramedics and take off about 6 months as they make that transition. Also want to tell you a little bit about allied health programs. So again, Every Maverick Matters also means our community. The feedback we're getting from our health partners is that they are delaying surgeries not because of lack of doctors, not because of lack of nurses, but because of lack of these other allied health programs. The rad techs, surge techs, respiratory therapists, physical therapy assistants, all of these types of jobs are in high demand currently in our community. We've just partnered with Lexington Health in their Irmo campus to double the size of our rad tech. For those of you who don't know, those are the people who take your x-rays. And surge tech, they help during surgeries. In fact, there's an old commercial, I'm not just the president, I'm also a customer. My daughter is actually in the rad tech program now, and she's working on that. It's tremendous job opportunities, but because those things are in high demand, they're also very lucrative careers. And we're excited for Kaylee personally, but we see that growing to help our hospitals. They say nurses are not really the thing that's in the highest demand. It's these other allied health programs that need some support. And so we're working with our local hospitals to expand the capacity of these programs and so often serve our needs. And when you're in a high growth community, that's going to be an important element. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the skills gap. Now, in this country, we're in a skills gap, primarily because, you have this idea where we have welding, HVAC, building construction technologies, electrical, all these other things, and a lot of those folks are retiring. Like many places, there's a graying of that workforce, and we've not actually done a great job as a country as filling in the pipeline for those things. Now, if you want to see the skills gap in action, come to my house when I try to fix something. It is not pretty. Thankfully, my daughter is dating a mechanical engineer. I employ for him because he comes to the house, he just fixes everything. It is fantastic. So, but that skills gap is alive and well at my house. But when you think about the skills gap, the good news is that our skilled trades programs at MTC are completely full. We are bursting at the seams. If you didn't apply for welding 9 weeks before the deadline, you didn't get in. The problem with that is we have lots and lots of students who are interested in those programs, and we currently don't have the capacity to help them. So we went to the legislature last year. We are going to double and triple our capacity in a number of those programs over the next 2 years. We're thrilled about that. Obviously with Scout Motors coming in, obviously with the nuclear power plant happening in Fairfield County, they will need thousands and thousands of skilled trade workers to build that thing over the course of the next 5 or 6 years. So it's a good time to be in the skilled trades business here in the Midlands. But I do want to talk about one other topic that with Scout Motors coming in, I want to teach you a little bit of vocabulary today. And that is the term mechatronics. Now, I've never heard of mechatronics before, except for a couple years ago. But mechatronics is going to be at the forefront of the next decade here in the Midlands. So first of all, what is it? It's a combination of electrical, mechanical, and robotics, all combined. They are basically the people who install, troubleshoot, repair the machines that make the machines. Okay? Now, if you look at the upstate, Greenville Tech has over 500 students in their mechatronics program. The population center up there with Spartanburg, Greenville, Tri-County, and Piedmont, they have nearly 1,300 students enrolled in mechatronics right now. At Midlands Tech, we have 90. Okay, 1,300 in the upstate, BMW, Zuzu, all the things. We have 90 right now at Midlands Tech. Now, that's not a criticism of what we've done in the past. We were serving our community at the need that our community had. When Scout Motors comes in, the tipping point of that goes way in the other direction. I'm not telling you we'll be at 500 or 600 students in mechatronics, but I'll tell you the number it's not going to be. It's not going to be 90. And so we're working right now side by side to be able to grow mechatronics for this region, and we hope to have a program or a capacity of the program that can serve the needs of our area, because we want local South Carolinians taking advantage of these jobs. We don't want to have people move in from Atlanta or Charlotte or Ohio or Michigan or wherever it may be. We want our local community to be able to have these jobs. One last project I want to share with you. My team doesn't even know I'm sharing this with you today. I'm going tomorrow to see another example of it in North Carolina, but I want to share with you today about one of the ideas that we have, because I don't know the next time I'll get to talk to you about this. It's a working title. It's not going to be named this because it seems weird, and I'm a big proponent of naming things. And this is not going to be the name, but for the sake of this conversation, just work with me. We're going to launch in the next few months the Midlands Manufacturing Institute. And we're going to help train underserved communities to have a 6 to 8 week boot camp, for lack of a better term, and have them prepared for manufacturing jobs in this area. It is very important to me and to my board and to the people in Midlands Technical College that we provide pathways and opportunities for local people, especially if they're interested in working. We want to provide them the best path possible for these jobs. Scout Motors is going to be a sea change in this community. I cannot express this enough. We are going to count time based upon before Scout Motors and after Scout Motors. That's the level of significance, because it won't be the only one. They're going to draw others. You would think the upstate would have a no vacancy sign with all the stuff they have going on, and that didn't stop Zuzu from bringing 700 more jobs to the upstate. The Midlands are going to be a manufacturing hub and center that is going to attract thousands and thousands and thousands more jobs, and we want to make sure that those pathways and pipelines are alive and well for local people in Columbia, Lexington, and Fairfield County to take advantage of those jobs. We still have a lot of work to do on that one. My people get nervous when I start sharing items that we haven't actually fleshed out yet. But I did want to share that with you today. That's an important part. Again, when we use the term Every Maverick Matters, it's not just about our students, it's not just about our staff, but it's our community as large. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Awesome. Well, in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and give my closing remarks, but then let it be open discussion as normal, Mayor, if that's agreeable. The two closing are, our next meeting date is April 16th, 9 to 11, and we'd love if someone would host this meeting on their beautiful campus, organization site, community center. You can email me though, if you don't want to commit now.
And if you don't, we're going to volunteer one of us.
Yes, we want to see everyone's campus and enjoy everyone's hospitality and let them show it off as well. So we'll follow up on that, but that's the date. The topic for that is workforce readiness, talent retention, and entrepreneurship. So one, there you go. Maybe we'll know more about this boot camp. I won't name it another name. But we'll talk about a lot of those things. And then as a reminder, this is a 2-year committee. So we'll open up the new nominations and then also discuss the chairmanship. and co-chairs. So with that, Mayor, I'm giving back to you. At 10:30, we'll transition into our first housing subcommittee meeting.
With my night, any comments, questions, opportunities that anybody wants to share at this time? Please.
Again, thank you for allowing us to be here. Last week, Dr. Pritchett and I attended the NCAA meeting up in DC. And like I said, I'm newly here, like Dr. Pritchett's newly here, but my job is to fulfill athletics. And we are a NCAA Division II member in our second year in the SIAC conference. And I know that schools of this size, of this nature, need help when it comes to financial, when it comes to student athletes. Dr. Pritchett and I share something very familiar. His son, Stanley Pritchett Jr., played football at the University of South Carolina and also played 9 years in the NFL. My son, Dominic Rogers Cromartie, played 11 years in the NFL. So we got the president of the university and the athletic director. Both sons played in the National Football League. We got to take advantage of that. So I'm reaching out to you guys right now on say the date, April the 10th. Darrell Green, 20-year NFL vet, will be coming here to our campus to speak as our sneaker ball. This is the first annual sneaker ball here at Allen University to help fundraise for our student athletes. My son will be introducing Darrell as the keynote speaker, and I'm also going to get Stanley Pritchett Jr. to get his people involved. And we'll have a great day, so I want you to save the date. Save the date, because our student athletes need some stuff, and we need some help. And I got to help take some of this financial burden off the institution. So I'm going to pass around my save the date flyers for April 10th. Mayor, I want to see you here. Mayor, I want to see you here at this sneaker ball, raise some sneakers, and then we'll have a good time. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a hand right. Again, thank you guys for joining us at Allen University this morning. Again, my name is Ty Barnes. I'm the Vice President for Institutional Advancement. And as my colleague, the Athletic Director, Stanley Cromartie, stated, we have a student body here on the campus of Allen University that we need to raise money for, right? So many of our students are Pell Grant eligible. Almost 80% of our students are Pell Grant eligible. So that means the median household income is less than $25,000. So it is incumbent upon me in the position that I'm in to help raise money for the institution. And on February the 13th, we are having our UNCF Gala. It's our 20th annual UNCF Gala. Starts at 6 o'clock at the Moore Building at the fairgrounds. And if you look to my left, and your right, some of you, we have a Richard Allen Award recipient for this year, our mayor, our esteemed mayor. He will receive the Richard Allen Award that night. So I'm going to have some materials for you before you leave today, talking about our UNCF Gala and some details surrounding table sponsorships and ticket sales. We'd love for all of you to be in support of our efforts and our initiatives to support our students. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Those of you who need to stay for the housing, everyone else, thank you for being here. Look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Let's don't stop working.
I know. Do you want me to be on the housing? And then so I'm using this as a for entry
Appreciate that.
It's only 10.5.
Bye.